समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
Let me start this episode of Politically Correct with what Chief Justice of India Surya Kant said last week, and I quote him here: "Whenever elections come, this court becomes a political battleground." Two communist parties were among the petitioners who had approached the Supreme Court seeking action against Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma for his hate speeches and videos. The Chief Justice of India, heading a three-member bench, took exception to the fact that the petitioners had come directly to the Supreme Court. And this is what the CJI said: "The entire effort is to undermine, demoralize the High Courts, which is not acceptable to us," unquote. The judges were not impressed by senior advocate Abhishek Singh, with reference to 17 previous instances when the apex court had entertained petitions under Article 32 that gives individuals the right to approach the Supreme Court for the enforcement of fundamental rights. The CJI was equally probing while hearing another litigation concerning alleged hate speeches by BJP CMs and leaders. And I quote the CJI again: come with an impartial and neutral petition. Ultimately, there must be restraint in speeches from all sides. You have not cited a single example from the other side," unquote. That was the CJI. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal finally agreed to file a revised petition after deleting those names. With around 90,000 pending cases and only 33 judges, CJI Surya Kant has good reasons to worry about politicians taking their political battles to the Supreme Court. It's mostly the opposition parties. Only a couple of weeks back, West Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee showed up at the Supreme Court as a petitioner and spoke against the SIR, or Special Intensive Revision Exercise of the Election Commission. Her cameo appearance got rave reviews back home in West Bengal. CJI Surya Kant is therefore right. The Supreme Court does become a political battleground whenever there are elections or political disputes, big or small. There is no escaping though. Judges, by the very nature of their job, can end up, however unwittingly, changing the contours of the political landscape and creating or destroying the fortune of many politicians and political parties. Remember the big Maharashtra political crisis of 2022, when Eknath Shinde along with 15 MLAs had rebelled against Shiv Sena chief Uddhav Thackeray. It was the Supreme Court vacation bench of Justice Surya Kant and Justice J.V. Padiwala whose two interim orders led to the fall of the MVA government. Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari had called for the floor test on the 30th of June. On the 27th of June, the vacation bench gave an interim relief to rebel MLAs, giving them time till the 12th of July to reply to disqualification notices, which they were supposed to do by that evening only. It meant that the rebel Sena MLAs could not be disqualified till the 12th of July, and they could vote during the floor test on the 30th of June. On the 29th of June, the bench met after the court hours and rejected the Thackeray Sena's plea to stay the floor test. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray chose to resign before that, as the MVA did not have the numbers. The rest is history. A year later, in May 2023, a constitution bench led by then CJI D.Y. Chandrachud concluded that Governor Koshyari's decision to call for a floor test was illegal. The court said that Thackeray could not be reinstated as the CM because he had resigned before the floor test. CJI Surya Kant's pain about the Supreme Court being made a political battleground by parties is understandable. There is not much he or fellow judges can do about it. Thackeray might have reasons to feel wronged by the vacation bench's interim orders. That changed Maharashtra's political landscape and has led to his party getting pushed to the political margins today. He should, however, appreciate the fact that SC Constitution bench had the time to properly examine the matter, while the vacation bench was hard pressed in the middle of a political storm. Our judges are aware that political parties can turn their orders or even oral observations into poll campaign fodder. The judiciary can resent this tendency of the political class, but cannot help it. 4 states, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal and Assam, and the Union Territory of Puducherry are set to go to polls in April. The piling up of pending cases also means that the Supreme Court sometimes can't decide on time-sensitive cases. For instance, in November 2025, a writ petition was filed in the Supreme Court challenging the Election Commission's decision not to undertake SIR in Assam, as it had done in Bihar and 12 other states and union territories. Instead, the ECI opted for a special division in Assam, arguing that the state has a separate provision under India's citizenship laws, and the Supreme Court monitored citizenship identification process was about to conclude. That was what the ECI said. It was not clear what CEC Gyanesh Kumar meant by the court monitored process which was to conclude. He was probably referring to the NRC in Assam. A clutch of petitions demanding its re-verification and implementation has been pending with the Supreme Court. The CEC's explanation, however, did not hold water. Given the repeated assertions by Home Minister Amit Shah and Chief Minister Himanta Sharma about infiltrators in Assam, it was only incumbent on the ECI to conduct SIR of electoral rolls in Assam to weed out those infiltrators if their names are on the voters list. Without that, the integrity of the voters list is bound to be questioned. Anyway, a CJI bench disposed of that November 2025 plea seeking SIR in Assam, terming it as infructuous because the ECI had completed the special division and published the final electoral rules on the 10th of February. Last week, a CJI-led bench came down heavily on the growing freebie culture in states while hearing a petition emanating from the DMK-led government's proposal to provide free electricity in Tamil Nadu. CJI Surya Kant asked why this scheme had been announced at the last minute, just ahead of the elections. The court clarified that its remarks were directed at a freebie culture in all states, not just Tamil Nadu. CM Stalin may not find it very reassuring though. In another ruling last week, another CJI-led bench set a 2-week window from the 7th to the 22nd of April for the Supreme Court to complete hearings on a batch of petitions in the controversial Sabarimala women's entry case. Supporting the SC's verdict that had allowed women of all ages entry into the shrine had cost the Pinarayi Vijayan-led government dearly in the 2019 Lok Sabha election. In 2021, Kerala went to the polls for the assembly elections on the 6th of April. CM Pinarayi Vijayan must therefore be an anxious man today, especially about the date of the election. What if his government has to take a stand in the Supreme Court on women's entry into the Sabarimala shrine before the day of voting this year? Anyway, in another decision last week, another CJI-led bench scheduled a 4-day final hearing from the 5th of May on petitions challenging the validity of CAA. It is likely to rekindle the debate over the contentious CAA, particularly in poll-bound West Bengal and Assam. A series of pronouncements by CJI Surya Kant-led benches last week, from Sabarimala to CAA and freebies, are set to resonate in the coming assembly elections during the campaign. That's despite the CJI's strong views about the Supreme Court becoming a political battleground for parties. Meanwhile, CEC Gyanesh Kumar must be watching these developments in the court very closely, especially the dates set by the apex court to hear petitions in long pending contentious cases. And I can already see the glint in his eyes. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.